A very warm welcome to the rolling hills of Tuscany. This, the former home of the Tuscan Formula One Grand Prix. This is Mugello and round 4 of the Italian F4 Championship presented by WSK Promotion. A beautiful summer's morning ready for the first of 3 races here this weekend. We had qualifying yesterday afternoon. I would like to tell you that it was action-packed, but in reality, it was actually reasonably straightforward. The championship leader, Kin Nakamura took pole position for race 1, which gets underway over 30 minutes plus 1 lap in just a moment. For races 2 and 3, back in form, last year's Rookie of the Year, the Mercedes AMG Junior, the Jamaican sensation, Alex Powell, who will start grid 1 for races 2 and 3 later this morning. Later today, I should say. Kin Nakamura making his way around. He is the championship leader on 165 points to Sebastian Weldon, who was a little bit further back on the grid than he would have liked. The driver from the United States, who took the first victory of the year. If you think back to round 1 at Misano, grid 6 for the Andretti Junior. Kin Nakamura, the championship leader over Sebastian. 6 victories thus far for K&B, second year in the Italian F4 Championship. His gap only 29 points, though. He is first in the series. He took pole position yesterday. We spoke to him afterwards.
Yeah, Q1 went really well. I think I did a good job, really clean, complete turnaround from the 3 practices, which was good. We learned a lot from the practices this morning and then sort of put it together for this one. Car was mega, it was perfect. Q2, we did a little bit of a step on the car just to fix an issue. And then I think I just didn't drive that well, to be honest. I was P1 for momentarily, then my lap got deleted. A little new addition to this year's Mugello races are track limits. Never had it before, but anyways, it is what it is. Still P2, see what happens. Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah, it's no secret that it's been a tough start to the season for me, but we're looking to turn things around, and this is a great way to do that. So I can't thank the team around me enough. I mean, everyone has put such a big effort behind me, and they know who they are. So I thank each and every one of you for all your hard work, and happy that that it came together today.
Nakamura with a 148.484 pole position for race 1. Alex with a 148.347 for races 2 and race 3 tomorrow morning. There is Kin Nakamura down to the left of your screen. Alongside, he is Gabriel Gomez, the driver from Brazil for the German AS Racing team. Inside second row of the grid, Emanuele Olivieri, who had a tough run at Monza. He's back on grid 3, and he's on the grid speaking with Laura Cola.
Emanuele, up and down series, back in front. Are you confident to win?
Yes, indeed. Yes, the quality was quite up and down. Luckily, now we're starting the front. P3, we have the pace to fight with the win, and I will give everything to fight. Yeah, the other quality we had quite a few problems, but now I want to focus for this race, and I will give everything.
2 podiums for Olivieri at the first round of the championship at Misano. He finished P2 in race 3 to Gabriel Gomez. That's Gabriel to the right of your screen. As we say, a tough run in round 3 for the Italian at Monza. But grid 3 yesterday in qualifying for the R-Race GP team starts inside second row of the grid behind Kin Nakamura. A row behind is Luca Samalisto, who has been blisteringly quick at times throughout the 2025 series. He starts grid 5 in car 7. He's on the grid. This is Luca Samalisto speaking with Laura Cola.
Luca, a good qualifying, but a good recovery for P5. So how do you feel?
Yeah, I'm feeling quite confident. The pace was quite good in qualifying 1, finished at P5. Second quali had small technical issues, but still managed to finish P7, so I'm feeling really confident for the race. Just full push, and let's see what we can go, like what we can get.
Good luck.
We cast our minds back to race 3 at Monza. He finished P2 to Newman Chi in the final race just a few weeks ago. Very quick driver is Luca Samalisto from Finland. 26 nations represented in this, the world's most competitive junior car racing series. The Japanese and Brazilian drivers on the front row of the grid. Olivieri, just one of 3 Italians in the national series, and Luca, who was just on the grid, speaking with Laura Colla from Finland. He's alongside the American and Jamaican driver, Powell and Sebastian Weldon. 38 cars on the grid. Alex Powell, pole position for races 2 and 3. He starts grid 3 this morning as the Maserati Magnificent MC20 sets off on the installation lap. This is the championship leader, Kin Nakamura Berta. 165 points in the series to Sebastian Weldon, 136. The English-born Japanese driver, the former World Kart Racing champion for the Forza Racing team back at Campillos in the pouring rain in the south of Spain in 2021. Grid 1 here this morning. Slight frustration in the voice of Kin after, yes, the dreaded track limits came into effect for most of the circuit as you look at Gabriel Gomez, who took that fantastic victory at Vallelunga in Rome in race 4, the second round of the series. Mugello is, of course, the home of the Italian MotoGP. For most of the circuit, as you can see the top left of your screen, track limits, it's simply gravel or grass. The drivers know exactly where the limit of the circuit is. Emanuele Olivieri, mentored by the multiple Le Mans 24-hour champion Dindo Capello. United Arab Emirates Formula 4 champion. To start 2025, he starts race 1 of this round 4 on pole position here this morning. A beautiful summer's morning here in the Tuscan countryside. This is Alex. So the RSGP drivers with their Italian and Jamaican, the RSGP team I should say, with their Italian and Jamaican drivers on the second row of the grid. Alex the Mercedes AMG Junior and Luca Samalisto out of grid 5. These are the entire 38 drivers to start race 1, round 4 here this weekend. K&B on pole. Gabriel Gomez out of grid 2. Yes, the RSGP drivers after a tough run at Monza. Second row of the grid for Olivieri and Powell. We go back to Luca Samalisto out of grid 5 alongside Sebastian Weldon. Maxim Rem, great to see the German out of grid 7. And Salim Hanna, what a week he had last weekend at Silverstone at the British Formula 1 Grand Prix. We'll speak about that throughout the broadcast. The Colombian starts out of grid 8 this morning. Alexander Bondarev, Alexander Ruta, great run for the Polish rookie for Van Amersfoort Racing. Newman Chi with that fantastic victory at Monza out of grid 11. Maximilian Popov disappointed. He was yesterday after qualifying P12. Andrea Kostic, Kabir Anurag, that's his best qualifying performance of the weekend. Needs to capitalise on that. Reno Francot back with us in the Italian series for PHM Racing. Any afraid? Jensen Motorsport. Car 20 out of grid 16. David Cosmo Christopher, pole sitter at Rome, alongside the Australian Dante Vinci, his Van Amersfoort Racing teammate, Marcus Sata from Norway, and the Israeli Guy Albag, also for RSGP, ahead of that Jensen Motorsport duo, Artem Severuk and Bart Harrison, with a belated podium at Monza. David Walter, watch the Dane, out of grid 23. Andrea Dupé on his 17th birthday, now painted red with the Prema Racing team, the Frenchman, out of grid 24. Emily Cotti, the British Kiwi, alongside the Argentine Teo Schropp. And then Ludovico Busso, Luca Vistoriano with a career best of P4 at Monza. Last time out, the Real Racing driver. This morning, though, back on position 28. Kirill Kutzkov, Elia Weiss, who's off to Berlin, as you know, on Monday to take part in the Formula E test for Porsche. Alexander Savinkov, Badir Al-Sulati for Jensen Motorsport, the Qatari. And the final few rows of the grid see Phil Strange for AS Motorsport, Peyton Westcott, the Californian, Francesco Coppola, and Nathaniel Berrabi for Maffei Racing. Still another page to go, in fact. Arthur Loremau and Cornelia Okulska on the final rows of the grid. All in readiness here this morning for race 1 of 3 here this morning. The great Mr. Giancarlo Minardi walks back. A pleasure always to see Mr. Minardi here at the circuit. This is the US Racing team. There is Gerhard GU to the right of your screen. Famed engineer with Mercedes in their Le Mans and DTM days. Now spearheading his own US Racing team. That's his driver. To the right of your screen, Gabriel Gomez, as the field set off on their formation lap in beautiful Tuscan sunshine here this morning. A quick check of the championship points sees King Nakamura Berta P1 on 165 points. Sebastian Weldon, 136 points P2. Gabriel Gomez, who starts Grid 2 this morning, he's third in the series on 114. Salim Hanna, what a week at the British Formula One Grand Prix, taking victory twice in the Formula 4 support races. He's fourth in the series on 82 points, and Emanuele Olivieri for RSGP is 82 points and in fifth place. As the field make their way down through the top part of the circuit, incredibly undulating. Nice weather here this morning, Saturday morning. This is the first of 3 races here this weekend. The magnificent Mugello circuit, just over 5.2 kilometres in length. It seems a long lap, but when we compare it to the original circuit, which was built more than 1 century ago, well, the original track had a lap length of almost 70 kilometres, racing through the local towns, Scarperia, Mugello, Borgo San Lorenzo, up until it was, well, sadly, put out of use in the early 1970s. The original lap record holder, the great Arturo Merzario, who actually raced with us a couple of seasons ago in the Italian TCR Touring Car Championship, still holds that lap record, which will, of course, never be beaten. On the original Mugello circuit, a lap length of almost 70 kilometres. We think this is a long lap at 5.2 kilometres, 15 turns. As the field make their way down through turn 14 now, Buccine and onto the main straight. There is Samalisto, that is Sebastian Weldon. Second in the series is the American Andretti Junior driver. Spare a thought for his countryman racing at Iowa in the NTT IndyCar World Series, who had to hunker down from a tornado. Graphic scenes from Iowa overnight, including the Andretti team. We're thinking of our friends on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean. And we hope, we pray that that tornado does pass through Tornado Valley in the United States, through the cornfields of Iowa, where the NTT IndyCar Racing Series is taking place this weekend. As we see going around, the 21 car of Teo Schropp, the Argentine, backs it into the grass. Oh, very lucky to get back going. That's into the final corner. This, just a few moments ago, Teo Schropp aggressively lights up the rear tyres, just 185 horsepower. A warm morning here, but certainly enough power to turn it around. Teo Schropp back on the grid, lucky to get away with that. David Cosma Christopher, car 13 for the PHM Racing team, one of 2 Romanians in the field, along with Luca Vistoriano, the Van Amersfoort Racing team, van the Netherlands. Peyton makes her way up onto the grid. Westcott on the 17th row. There's Jensen Motorsport. Andreas to the left. Champions with Marcus Siebert in the Italian series back in 2016. Bader Al-Solati pulls into the grid's position ahead of Peyton Westcott. Behind is Nathaniel Berby and Cornelia Olkutska. Welcome to the Tuscan countryside. Round 4 of the Italian F4 Championship, presented by WSK Promotion. The first of 3 races here this weekend in beautiful summer sunshine. Nakamura Berta on pole position to the left of your screen. The green flag to the back of the grid, the 5 red lights. For the first time this weekend here at Mugello, we race Great getaway from Gabriel Gomez, as you see in the background. Kabir Anurag, dart to the inside. He's already gone past 1-2 drivers. He makes his way by Andrea Kostic, Ki Nakamura Berta, Gomez around the outside. The Brazilian on the championship leader slightly locks up. 38 cars that make their way up into turn 1 through San Donato. KNB, position 1 in the opening stages of race 1 here this weekend. Gomez in second place. Then the R-Race GP duo as the field race up through Luco, Poggio Secco, Materassi and Borgo San Lorenzo for the first time. Out into the gravel, into the grass. One of the US racing drivers may well have been Samalisto or Kostic. We'll get back to that in a moment as Ki Nakamura Berta already opens up a nice lead on Gabriel Gomez. In trouble, one of the VAR drivers slowing. Sebastian Weldon has lost 1 position off the start. It was Andrea Kostic who was off the road. Also Marcus Sata, the Norwegian, slowing in the background. A clean start, relatively speaking, in the opening stages of race 1 of 3 here this weekend. Nakamura Berta already with a nice lead over Gomez, Powell, Olivieri, Maxim up to P5 and Samalisto. Weldon, Bondarev, Newman Chi up to P9. The Monza race 3, race winner. And look at the lead already from Ki Nakamura Berta, who in race 2 later this evening will have to start from grid 9. But a good opening lap so far from the championship leader in car 51 for the Prema Racing team as the field go down into turn 14, Buccine corner for the first time. Gabriel Gomez trying to take the lead around the outside of Ki Nakamura Berta at the end of lap 1. That did not work, and he's now already 1.3 seconds behind. Almost up to 230 kilometres an hour in the opening stages of this race. Dive down the inside. Maximilian Popov. Going on through, Alexander Ruta, Dante Vinci as well. David Cosmo Christopher on the inside of David Walter, the Great Dane, flying a great start from David Walter. Already moved up to position 16 as we see Andrea Kostic, the Serbian, into pit lane after first lap contact. Trying to rejoin, but he is at risk of going a lap down because we've got a clean start to the first of 3 races here this morning. There's Kabir Anurag, who's already inside the top 10 after a great launch off the line. He shadows the Monza race 3 race winner Newman Chi and has got ahead of the third rookie Salim Hanna, hot after 2 victories at the British Formula 1 Grand Prix last weekend at Silverstone. Behind the Colombian is Popov, Frey, Ruta, Vinci, Guy Elbag and David Walter. Ahead of the first of the 2 Romanians, David Cosmo Christopher. This is David down the inside. Walter on Guy Elbag, and the Dane goes through on the Israeli. He's had a tough start to 2025, but David Walter from Denmark is a super talent. The former factory driver for the Tony Kart racing team, multiple WSK race winner in WSK World Karting, and he's already picking them off one by one. David Walter goes through on Guy Elbag, chases after the Sydney sider Dante Vinci. As the field come across the line, this is Maxim Ram in 71 from Samalisto, Weldon, Bondarev, Chi and Caballera, the Singaporean, up into position 10. Fabulous start from Kabir Anurag, locks up on the inside though. KNB P1, 1.4 seconds clear. This is Sebastian fending off the challenge from the first rookie from the Ukrainian, Alexander Bondarev. The Williams rookie with 3 DNFs last time out at Monza. Alex Powell is dropping down the field. Alex Powell with a problem. Or is he? Or is that a timing issue? We're looking for the second R-Race GP driver. Word from race control. There may be a problem with Alex Powell. He's 41. Olivieri in 68. There is still 2 R-Race GP drivers there. As we look at Lucas Samalisto, he's up into position 6 after losing a couple of positions off the start. Olivieri going through. This is Maxim Rem, the German, for the German US racing team. Kin Nakamura-Berta controls the place. P1, 1.5 seconds clear of Gabriel Gomez. Anurag inside the top 10. That may have been a timing error for Alex Powell. You can see there is the Jamaican. Apologies for that. We were told by race control as he dropped down the order, but he's slotted back on the timing screen. He's still there in P3. I can tell you, though, that Marcus Sato has dropped right down the order. Andrea Kostic in pit lane. And on the side of the circuit, Guy Albag, look at the left rear, puncher and damage to the front. Yellow flag only for the moment. There is Alex going through. I'll put my hand up for that error as you look at Lucas Samalisto get this slipstream from Maxim Rem, but it accounts for nothing because the safety car comes out onto the circuit for the first time here this morning. Guy Albag stranded on the side of the track. We'll take a look at what happened to the Israeli for R-Race GP. The left rear, so clearly there was contact trying to make it back to the pits. Undrivable. A complete 360 goes around. There is no drive on nothing more than a rim. So clearly, obviously, damage, contact to the right rear as his left rear, as his teammates go through. This is Maxim Rem, 71 ahead of Lucas Samalisto. The gap of 1.5 seconds. Kin Nakamura-Berta back to Gomez, evaporates. This is Alex Powell. Yes, he is still there, but he's still early Saturday morning. He is on track. Dropping down the order, though, is his teammate, Guy Albag, who was one of multiple drivers, along with Salim Hanna, the aforementioned, Emily Cotti, Alexander Savinkov, who all also raced in the Formula 4 race at Silverstone in the British Formula 1 Grand Prix last weekend. Sebastian Weldon, P6 for the American, who is second in the series. This is Alexander Ruta. Strong run for the pole for the Dutch Van Amersfoort racing team. He's in 13th at the moment, ahead of his Australian teammate David Walter, up to position 15. Nice to have your company. If you are just joining us, this is the first of 3 races here this weekend, the Italian F4 Championship. It is the 4th of 7 rounds. The 5th round on the first weekend of August at the home of the Emilia-Romagna Formula 1 Grand Prix. Of course, that's Imola after the summer break to Barcelona, Catalonia in Spain, September 21, and the series final back where the championship kicked off at Misano as Guy makes the long walk back to the pits. The Israeli gets 0 points out of race 1 here this morning. Marcus Sato also down in pit lane, along with Andrea Kostic. Dante Vinci going through was a victim, if we can say that. Well, let's just say he fell foul of the Lewis Hamilton rule, and by that I mean he was given a €1,000 fine for the unauthorised wearing of jewellery in the Monza race, where he actually suffered a fractured wrist. Was into the gravel at Podium at Roger Chicane. As we look at David Cosmo Christopher down into pit lane, was almost inside the top 10. We look at the BHM team go to work. A new front wing for the first of the 2 Romanians. He was, the second of which, Luca Vosoriano, who's in P20. PHM go to work. Davide controlling proceedings at the front of the car. Won't go a lap down. David Cosmo Christopher, pole position at Vallelunga in the second round of the championship. Just getting back to Dante Vinci, yes, a €1,000 fine. There's the news we wanted to see in the bottom left of your screen. Safety car in this lap. Dante Vinci, unauthorised wearing of jewellery at Monza. That's steep, €1,000. You know, there were various other drivers, particularly in the FIA Formula 1 World Championship, who were less than impressed when the FIA introduced that ruling. They fought back. Dante simply had to cough up €1,000. Davide for the PHM racing team. Quick work for David Cosmo Christopher, who's gone back out, does not go a lap down. He is down in 35th and last position. Lucas Samalisto, car 7, P5, ahead of Sebastian Weldon, who's second in the series. This is the first of 3 races here this weekend. Race 2 at 6 o'clock tonight, and race 3 tomorrow morning. Round 4 of 7, the 12th season of the Italian F4 Championship, presented by WSK Promotion. The pole sitter, the championship leader, Ken Nakamura for the Prema Racing Team, position 1. The reigning champion, Freddie Slater, who took the title, the second Englishman to claim the Italian Championship last year. Also for the Prema Racing Team. Ken, the English-born Japanese driver, P1, backs the field up. Again, making quick reference back to Silverstone last week. You know he has to keep a consistent pace. If you know, you know. Does do so at the moment. Ken Nakamura with Gabriel Gomez stuck right beneath the rear wing. He will wait till the last possible moment because it is a long straight here at Mugello, over 1 kilometre in length. Does not want to give the slipstream. Not the same high speeds that we saw at Monza. Now goes. In fact, it's an early restart. Gabriel Gomez goes with him. He will get the tow. He will get the slipstream. But a good exit coming out of Bucciene. Powell in P3 from Olivieri. Ram Samalisto. The green flag flies and we race green once again. Albag is out of the race. The safety car into pit lane. KMB, a 1.5 second lead last time. Comes across the line in position 1, still 0.4 of a second ahead of Gabriel Gomez. Closes up under brace. Gabriel Gomez is good into turn 1. Samalisto on the inside of Rem. There is Arnoldag. Hana. Popov, Frey, Ruta, Vinci, Walter, Severukian and Reno Francot as DW charges his way through in car 45 for the Maffei Racing Team. Sebastian under attack, surprisingly not the best restart for the American, who took 3 victories on the road to Indy last year and position 1 in the very first race of the 2025 series. Has just lost something slightly to Maxim Rem, the German, 0.4 of a second ahead of the American. On your screen, the Andretti Jr. Bondarev just behind, may pick up a place now, because just going into the gravel, you saw the dust fly. That, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly how you correctly define track limits. Put your right rear into the gravel and it's game over. Get out of the throttle, maybe lose a place. But the limit of the track, literally and very, very clearly defined here at Mugello. Weldon with the opportunity to close up on Ram. This is Maxim's teammate. Gabriel Gomez in position 2, Powell back in 3, Olivieri, Samalisto, Rem, Weldon, Bondarev, Chi, Kabir Anurag, still in P10, ahead of El Colombiano Salim Hana, who is the 3rd rookie, ahead of Popov, Frey, Ruta, Walter, up into P15. Sebastian on your screen. The gap 0.8 of a second. This is the Mercedes Junior. Alex Powell with a forgettable, well, really start to 2025, with the exception of race 2 at Monza, where he came charging through from 27th to finish P6 as Sebastian locks up, goes slightly wide. Under attack from Alexander Bondarev, the Williams F1 Junior. He had a forgettable weekend at Monza, 3 starts, 3 DNFs. But the Williams Junior is in P7 in car 27 and the first rookie, ahead of Newman Chi. Gomez, the gap back out to 0.8 of a second. Ken Nakamura has got the speed seemingly here this morning. Gomez, P2. He finished P2 in race 3 at Monza with that fantastic victory in the final race at Vallelunga, round 2 in Rome. The R-Race duo who finished 1-2 in the season opening United Arab Emirates Formula 4 Championship. They have had a really tough start the first 3 rounds of the series. Effectively, their championship hopes are over, but they're 3rd and 4th here, and they do start pole position for race 2 this afternoon with Powell. Weldon now closing up on the back of Maxim Ram. This is Kabir Anurag. who's looking racy here this morning. Pop off from Frey. Slight defence there from Newman Chi. The two Asian drivers. Newman Chi from the People's Republic of China. Kabir Anurag from the city-state of Singapore down on the equator. The Asian drivers leading, in fact, with King Nakamura the gap out to 1 second to the South American, and Alex still in position 3. Last year's Rookie of the Year, Olivieri, the United Arab Emirates, the UAE season-opening F4 Championship winner, who spoke to Lauderdon on the grid. Popoff locks up just behind Enya Frey, the Swiss driver for the Swiss Jensen Motorsport team. Not far outside the top 10, this 38-car field. Enya Frey in position 13. This is Maxim Rem. German driver, German team, car 71. Lightning fast WSK International Kart racer, formerly with the Ricky Flynn Motorsport team. Powell, Olivieri, back to Samalisto. Olivieri in 68, right on the edge of the circuit. The highest part of the circuit. Scaparia, Palagio, Corantaio. Coming up into turn 12 now. The gap down to 9/10 of a second. Ken Nakamura controlling the pace in this, the first race, the second half. Race 1, round 4 here this weekend. Beautiful summer sunshine in the Tuscan countryside. This is Alex on screen. What a relief it would be, still the second half of the race to go, if he could take a podium here after a very tough start to the Italian series. He did win the Rookie Championship in 2024. New colours, new team for the Mercedes-AMG Junior. Olivieri just ahead, the first of only 3 Italians in the field. The 3-pointed star on the top of Alex's helmet. Olivieri just behind. So they cross the line just under 230 kilometres an hour. Fastest lap of the race so far, King Nakamura with a 150.843. 150.9 last time round. Just the front 4 drivers, Nakamura, Gomez, Powell, Olivieri, are the only drivers under the 151 bracket in the first half of race 1 here this weekend. Bondrev on your screen, car 27 in position 8. Still behind Sebastian Weldon, the Andretti Junior on your screen. Sebastian, 98. The field spread out in what is largely a clean race here this morning. Sebastian, second in the series. Don't forget, next weekend we go to the magnificent, the world-class Paul Ricard circuit in the south of France, the former home of the French Formula 1 Grand Prix, as the 3-round Euro 4 Championship, the E4 Series, the 3-round Challenge Championship Series, gets underway next week. It is a separate championship. 3 rounds starting at Paul Ricard next weekend. The first 2 editions, both won by drivers from New York, USA, Ugo Uguchuku in 2023, and last year it was Akshay Border who took the Euro 4 title. The first round of the 3-round series next week at the magnificent Paul Ricard circuit in the south of France. You look at Samalisto getting the slipstream now from Olivieri. A sedate race, but here's an opportunity for the Finn to get by the Italian up into turn 1. San Donato too far back to launch it down the inside. Olivieri, a position off the podium at the moment. Is Samalisto, in fact. Alex Powell is there in P3, the same timing issue which caused concern earlier on. If you were panicking, there, top left, yes, he has popped back into P3. Olivieri, P4. This is Luca Samalisto in the background. Maxim Rem. As Nakamura puts in a 50.683 to go faster again. The gap just over 1 second now Kin Nakamura with 6 victories. Sideways from Maxim Rem, absolutely on the edge of adhesion. On the absolute limit in car 71. Nakamura 6 victories thus far in this year's championship. Potentially 7 as we move into the final third of race 1 of 3 here this weekend. Rem, back to Weldon. The gap just half a second between the German and American drivers. Alex in P3. Olivieri Samalisto, Ram, big lock-up from Alexander Bondarev. Newman Chi just behind. And Kabir Anurag still rounds out the top 10. Great getaway. It's his best starting position of the weekend for Kabir Anurag. As Sebastian Weldon tries to get the toe from Maxim Rem. .5 from Nakamura, controlling the pace in first place and goes fastest does the Japanese championship leader for the Prema Racing team in car 51. Back to Gomez. Looking at another podium here. He's third in the series. May take points, in fact, will take points out of Sebastian Weldon. 136 points to Sebastian coming into this round. 114 to Gabriel. But Weldon back in P7, Gomez in P2. This is Olivieri. Francesco Coppola, Ludovico Busso, the only other Italians in this, the national championship. The most competitive junior car racing series in the world. This is round 4 at the former home of the Tuscan Formula 1 Grand Prix. The recent Italian MotoGP just a few weeks ago, won by Marc Marquez on the Ducati. Incidentally, nowhere near Lewis Hamilton's lap record of 1:18 here at the Tuscan circuit, but only 2.5 seconds off the MotoGP lap record set by Francesco Bagnaia. Not exactly an apples to oranges comparison, whatever the saying is. As you look at Olivieri, massively sideways coming onto the straight. That will be costly. Samalisto trying to capitalize. He was too far back. 0.8 of a second. Alex Powell staring at the mirror back to his teammate. On your screen, MP1, Kin Nakamura. Gomez, Powell, Olivieri, Samalisto, Ram, Weldon, Bondarev, Chi. Into the gravel and out on debut with the Prema Racing team, Andrea Dupé. Parked into the gravel is the French driver. That is not the 17th birthday present he would have been hoping for. The safety car comes out onto the circuit. The gap 1.23 seconds between Kin Nakamura and Gabriel Gomez. Again, that instantly evaporates. Andrea Dupé into the gravel. The Frenchman lifts the visor. The car looks largely undamaged. It is still straight. But almost certainly Andrea Dupé. First race. As you see, Alexander Savinkov puts in a 50.3 just before the safety car came out. That's impressive for the Ukrainian driver, also for the RSGP team. He's down in 19th position, but has just gone faster even than the race leader. Andrea Dupé, happy birthday, mate. Parked into the gravel. That is not the present he would have been hoping for. Out of the car now and walks back to pit lane. First time with the red team from Vicenza and a DNF here this morning. You can see it's just to the side. Well, there is an exit chute to the side of the track, so hopefully, and this likely is to be a very quick safety car period, if the car can be dragged out of the gravel. Andrea Dupé is out of race 1 here this morning. The car already being lifted. A first-class team here at Mugello. The circuit opened in the early 1970s. home venue of the Italian MotoGP, formerly in the past hosting International Formula 3000, the DTM Touring Car Championship. The magnificent MC20 safety car picks up the race leader, Ken Nakamura-Berta. Gomez, Powell, Olivieri, Samalisto. Andrea Dupe is out. So hopefully a quick safety car intervention. We look forward to tonight's race 2. That's at just after 6 o'clock local time, 10 minutes past 6. The lights go out for race 2 and tomorrow morning race 3. Powell, who's in P3, will start grid 1 for both those two races. And Ken Nakamura-Berta, who spoke to us after qualifying, disappointed when he had a lap deleted from Q2, the championship leader, to start back on the 5th row of the grid for race 2 later this evening. Great work by the team here at Mugello. Safety car in this lap. Ken Nakamura-Berta to sprint to the checkered flag in P1. One final attack for Gabriel Gomez, trying to take his second victory of 2025. Second year racing Formula 4. Last year in the Spanish series, joined us at Monza in the final round of 2024. Third in the series. Sebastian on your screen, second behind Maxime Rem. One final sprint. He accelerated earlier last time. We will see if Ken Nakamura-Berta employs the same tactic or if he waits. Just a reminder, they cannot pass until they cross the start-finish line. It is up to Ken Nakamura-Berta to control the pace as the safety car leads out of Scarperia, Palagio, Corantaio. Down into turn 14, Buccine corner. The lights out on the safety car. Again, Ken Nakamura-Berta backs up the field. Still yellow for the moment. The green flag now flying on the start-finish line. It is green now, but Ken Nakamura-Berta dictates the pace. Again, he goes early. Will give the slipstream to Gabriel Gomez, who turns in early, trying to get the run. One final crack to attack and take victory away from the championship leader, who goes wide, coming onto the straight, gets the extra few engine RPM. Gabriel Gomez now has to worry about Alex Powell. The green flag flies once again, and we race to the checkered flag. Race 1 of 3. Samalisto on your screen, trying to get up onto the podium. Gomez, Powell, Olivieri back to Luca, and behind Maxime Rem. Look at Sebastian on the outside. Locks up the inside front right. Maxime Rem goes in deep. Sebastian on the outside of the German, who's got the inside line as they go through Luco, Poggio Secco, and up into Matarassi, turn 4 at the highest part of this magnificent Mugello circuit. Nakamura-Berta leads. Gomez with a great restart. The gap is only 0.4 of a second. Just over 1 minute plus 1 lap remaining here. There's Popov from his Polish teammate Ruta into the gravel. Vissoriano has come together. It may well be Emily Cotti. Is that the ball game? They're both parked into the gravel. It's Savinkov, in fact, Alexander Savinkov, who just set the fastest lap of the race of 50.371 into the gravel with Vissoriano. They're still green for the moment. There is Ram fighting with his teammate Samalisto for P5. Sebastian just behind. We may go safety car, or it may stay green. The final opportunity for Sebastian Weldon to get some valuable points here in the championship at the moment. The American in P7 with the two US racing drivers just ahead. Nakamura-Berta, half a second clear. It depends on when we cross the line. If we have another lap, it was into turn 1, into San Donato. Vissoriano and Savinkov. They're well off the racing line. We may stay green. Just a local yellow as they cross the line after 30 minutes have ticked over here. So this is the last lap. Nakamura Berta. Yellow down into turn one. We stay green for most of this, the final lap. Nakamura Berta, the gap is 0.7. It's closed up significantly though. You can see Visoriano and Savinkov, the Romanian and Ukrainian drivers' cars parked into the gravel. We don't have a safety car. NASCAR style. It's almost like the sprint to the white flag on the penultimate lap of the race. Nakamura Berta. The gap 0.7 of a second, surely on his way to his 7th win of 2025. Gomez with the R-Race duo just behind. Gabriel, 3rd in the championship, 2nd in the race. Losing time to King Nakamura Berta, who's got fantastic speed here this morning. Even behind the safety car, the restart was able to pull away with an excellent exit out of turn 14. Gomez is good under brakes though. Powell, potentially his first podium of 2025. He starts grid 1 later tonight, but it's a welcome return up onto the dais shortly, unless his Italian teammate can go by in the dying stages of this, the final, the 15th lap of race 1 of 3 here this weekend. Nakamura Berta, the championship leader, the pole sitter for the Prema Racing team, down into turn 14 for the final time. He has controlled the pace in first place. Out of turn 14. And the checkered flag will wave for the 7th time this season. King Nakamura Berta extends his lead in the championship. He wins race 1 here this morning at Mugello. Oh, Menino do Brasil, Gabriel Gomez, P2, and Alex Powell. Welcome back to the podium. Finishes P3 from his R-Race GP teammate, Olivieri Samalisto, in P5. Cosmo Christopher races across the line ahead of Francesco Coppola, Strange, Westcott, Lorimer, Cornelio Olkutska, Savinkov, Visoriano, and in the gravel. We did stay green, thankfully, which is nice to see. The gravel trap doing their job in more ways than one. Not only arresting the cars, but clearly defining track limits here at Mugello. You get the point. King Nakamura Berta takes victory by 0.7 of a second. Extends his lead in the championship. 7th win of 2025. Still a chance to catch Freddie Slater's incredible 15 race win record from 2025, which eclipsed Andrea Antonelli's 12 race win, 2022 championship winning season, and one more than Ollie Behrman, who won the title back in 2021. Struggling to get the visor up is King Nakamura Berta, and some fresh air here on a warm summer's morning. Gabriel Gomez, Alex Powell, so the drivers from Japan, Brazil, and Jamaica finish 1, 2, 3 here in race 1 of the Italian Championship. No bad thing to have a reasonably sedate race. A few incidents. Andrea Dupe retiring a few moments, a few laps from the checkered flag, Savinkov and Visoriano, but very little damage. Thankfully, to these second generation Tata's T421 cars, 38 drivers taking the start, 32 taking the finish. And in P1, it is the Japanese championship leader for the Prema Racing team, King Nakamura Berta, who wins race 1 here this morning at Mugello. Finally gets the visor cracked open on the bell. says Gabriel Gomez. Another P2, exactly the finish that he took in the previous round at Monza in the first 2 races. Back on the podium, the Mercedes AMG Junior, last year's Rookie of the Year, with a tough start to 2025. Back in form and with speed. Incidentally, his RHGP teammate, Alexander Savinkov, did end in the gravel, but did end with the fastest lap of the race. Gary Catt, Infinity Management, very happy with his young driver. Savinkov with a 50.371 in the gravel at DNF, but fastest in race 1 this morning. His teammate, Powell, finishes P2. Gabriel Gomez, another second place for the driver who's 3rd in the series. 7th victory of the season. Kin Nakamura Berta, he's in pit lane, speaking with Laura Cola.
Well, another perfect race for you, and we saw you clapping for yourself.
Yeah, no, it was a really tough race. We were a bit worried coming into this one with our pace in the long runs didn't seem to match the others. But yeah, so spent the race managing the tyres, but in the end it was worth it. Car was really good, to be honest. Managed to hold off Gabriel behind me. The 2 safety cars nearly caused me some trouble, but yeah, it was I think good managed race from myself and from my engineer working together just to keep the gap around 1 second. So yeah, it was really good. Yeah, it's really nice to get another win under the belt, but we've got some hard work to do later today. So we just keep pushing, keep working, and hopefully we can get a pretty good weekend overall.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We take a look at the highlights of race 1. Kin Nakamura Berta, Gabriel Gomez went wheel to wheel. Gomez from grid 2 tried the outside line for a moment. It looked as though the South American would race around the championship leader to take the lead up into San Donato as Luca Samalisto down the inside of the RHGP duo. They slotted into 3rd and 4th place as Sebastian was wide into the gravel. He wasn't the only one. Andrea Kostic in the background, in the grass, and ultimately into pit lane to retire. Gomez back to 2nd place, Luca Samalisto. This was the moment which brought out the safety car for the Israeli Guy Albag. Contact to the left rear, spinning with no drive. Nakamura Berta, as the safety car pulled into pit lane, accelerated clear and pulled away. Alex Powell back on the podium. This, 2 laps from the end, Savinkov, who had just set the fastest lap of the race, coming together with Luca Vistoriano. They finish in the gravel, and Nakamura Berta finishes in position 1. He takes his 7th victory of 2025. The great Mr. Giancarlo Minardi presents the trophies to 3rd place Alex, 2nd Gabriel, and the winner for the 7th time this season, Kin Nakamura Berta. The drivers from Jamaica, Brazil and Japan finish 3, 2, 1 in race 1 of this weekend. The 4th round of the Italian Championship. Kin Nakamura Berta extends his lead in the series. He'll do it a little bit tougher this evening. Race 2 at 6 o'clock. Alex will start on pole position. Kin Nakamura Berta back on the 5th row of the grid. We hope you've enjoyed this morning's race 1. We'll see you for race 2 at 6 o'clock this evening from Mugello.